Hello everyone, welcome to Overzealous While Logical, or OWL Reviews, where today I'll be bringing you book field analysis about The Martian by Andy Weir. Please excuse Matt Damon's gigantic face on this book cover. By the time I got around to reading this book, the only one I could find was the one with the movie version cover. So to start off, I will admit that I did end up seeing the movie before I read the book, so please don't burn me at the stake. Now that I have read the book and also seen the movie, I can say that I think the movie was about as faithful as a movie version of a book can be to the source material. I know that they did have to change some things, and maybe a few things they didn't have to change, but to make things a little more theatrical for a visual version of the story, I can understand why they made the changes that they made. And, you know, even though I was joking about Matt Damon's face on the cover of that book, I think he was a very good Mark Watney. When it comes to science fiction, I do tend to prefer the stories where science saves the day, because I am not smart enough to write those kinds of stories. I mean, I guess you could say he wouldn't be on Mars in the first place if not for science, but putting that aside, he's on Mars. He would have died a lot sooner if he didn't know some science and if science didn't help him survive. Another huge plus for me with this book was Mark Watney's sense of humor. I think that this story pretty much would have been a slog to read with any other type of character, because if you think about his situation, how he's literally stuck on Mars and has to survive for 2 years almost, and Mars is not making that easy for him. It takes a certain type of person to not just curl up and give up on the first sol that they're there, because they don't measure time in days, they measure them in sols, which are slightly longer than an Earth day, just so you know. Now I'm going to read a scene that's about 3/4 of the way through the book to give an example of Watney's sense of humor. Log entry, Sol 381. I've been thinking about laws on Mars. Yeah, I know, it's a stupid thing to think about, but I have a lot of free time. There's an international treaty saying that no country can lay claim to anything that's not on Earth. And by another treaty, if you're not in any country's territory, maritime law applies. So Mars is international waters. NASA is an American non-military organization, and it owns the HAB. So while I'm in the HAB, American law applies. As soon as I step outside, I'm in international waters. Then when I get in the rover, I'm back to American law. Here's the cool part. I will eventually go to Schiaparelli and commandeer the Ares 4 lander. Nobody explicitly gave me permission to do this, and they can't until I'm aboard Ares 4 and operating the comm system. After I board Ares 4, before talking to NASA, I will take control of a craft in international waters without permission. That makes me a pirate. A space pirate. It's pretty hard not to chuckle out loud at that, even though he's almost been killed on Mars like 18 times by that point. So the other thing though is toward the end when Watney is heading to Schiaparelli, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, feel free to scold me in the comments, and when he's leaving the HAB, he has this moment where he's, you know, talking about how he might miss it a little bit because he's been there so long. And that's the part that really hit me, how long he had actually been alone on Mars. The HAB is a shell of its former self. I've robbed it of all critical components and a big chunk of its canvas. I've looted that poor HAB for everything it could give me, and in return, it's kept me alive for a 1.5 years. It's like the giving tree. I performed the final shutdown today. The heaters, lighting, main computer, etc. All the components I didn't steal for the trip to Schiaparelli. I could have left them on. It's not like anyone would care. But the original procedure for Sol 31, which was supposed to be the last day of the surface mission, was to completely shut down the HAB and deflate it, because NASA didn't want a big tent full of combustible oxygen next to the MAV when it launched. I guess I did the shutdown as an homage to the mission Ares 3 could have been. A small piece of the Sol 31 I never got to have. He was on Mars 1.5 years. Nope. Just nope. Just nope, I'm done. Nope. So once I got past that, you know, you get to the last 50 pages of this book when the rescue happens, and that was so intense. But in keeping with Watney's spirit, one of my favorite parts of this book is that it has a happy ending. Sometimes that's all I want from my books. Sometimes I just want the happy ending. Alright everyone, that was my field analysis for The Martian by Andy Weir, and Matt Damon and I both think that you should read this book. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, and please subscribe to my channel so you can get all my future book reviews. Thanks for watching, and happy reading. Space is terrifying, guys, so just putting that out there.